All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the National Security Innovation Network Vector informational session. Today I am joined, trying to switch some of the slides here. There we go. Today I'm joined by Ms. Caroline Still. She has been with NSIN for just about 4 years now, so she is a pro in all things NSIN and all things Vector. She's run this program now and is extremely passionate and dedicated to it. I've just shared our agenda for today. We're going to start off with Caroline. She's going to give us a thorough overview of NSIN and the Vector program. I'll talk a little bit about the benefits and expectations, including the application process. And then we're going to hear from an alumni of the NSIN Vector program. And at the very end, we'll have time for questions. And we're going to ask everyone to remain muted throughout because we have such a large audience today, and to post their questions in the chat. We'll get to as many of those as possible. So without further ado, I'm going to ask Caroline to take it away and tell us about NSIN.
Thanks so much, Ryan. So hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming today. My name is Caroline, and I am the NSIN Vector Program Manager. I'm so excited to tell you a little bit more about NSIN and a little bit more about the Vector program. So for those of you who might not know, the National Security Innovation Network is a Department of Defense program office aligned with the Defense Innovation Unit, reporting directly to the Secretary of Defense. So just an idea of kind of where we sit. We were created in 2016 with one mission, which is to change the way the Department of Defense solves problems. And so we do that by delivering high quality targeted programming to mature and expand the national security innovation base, and by placing highly qualified experts across the US in areas of known and unknown interest to the department. We are located in places you would expect, such as Austin and San Francisco, but more importantly in places you might not, like Kansas and South Dakota, and that is intentional. And it's because we know that there are amazingly talented people and technologies resident across the US with capabilities of interest to us. So we are an organization made up of about 100 people now, with 3 distinct teams: our regional network team, our enterprise services team, and of course our program team. So our regional team is composed of our regional engagement principals spread out across our 9 NSIN regions, which you can see on the slide. And they engage with local venture and academic communities. So you might be able to see which one you fall into. Our enterprise services team is made up of our data cell and our transition cell. The NSIN transition cell is a team that you'll get to know well throughout the program, should you participate. They are a team of subject matter experts with deep knowledge of the government contracting and private capital spaces. And they provide post-program support and services to our NSIN alumni teams to help them navigate the defense space and set them up for success post-program. And then last but not least is our NSIN program team. So we have 2 portfolios here at NSIN, the venture portfolio and the talent portfolio. The talent portfolio works to identify non-traditional problem solvers and solutions from academia. The venture portfolio works to connect early stage companies to the DoD. So if you hadn't guessed, this program Vector is aligned with NSIN's venture portfolio. You can go to the next slide, please. So some of you might have heard about our newest partnership with the Defense Innovation OnRamp Hubs. So the OnRamp Hubs, their purpose is to serve as an open door to the department. They're spaces where companies and entrepreneurs can learn more about how to enter the national security innovation base, discover how to access government programming, and engage in national security events. For the Vector program, these OnRamp Hubs really do serve as a force multiplier for the Vector program, providing more opportunities for local companies in these ecosystems to get plugged into their defense communities. So the hubs are currently located in these 5 states. So in Hawaii, Ohio, Washington State, Arizona, and Kansas. If you're interested in learning more, like please reach out to me and I can get you connected with their teams. All right, you can go to the next slide. All right, so the reason you're all here, more about the Vector. So I would say the overall goal of Vector is really to demystify the DoD and defense space for early stage companies. So for this cohort, we will select about 20 early stage dual use ventures from across the US for a 10-week accelerator program. So during this time, companies will learn the fundamentals of conducting business with the DoD through our tailored curriculum. So we'll walk companies through the basics, such as, how to make a business plan, how to craft a federal pitch deck, how to identify key stakeholders, as well as the finer points of, how do I navigate the procurement process? How do I protect my IP, mitigate security risks, that sort of thing. So in addition to the curriculum, companies will meet with subject matter experts from across the federal space. You'll participate in government mentor sessions and connect with Vector alumni, all of whom can provide key insights into how to navigate the federal landscape, as well as how to maximize your time in the program. Finally, the program, can you go back one more? Thank you. Finally, the program culminates in a public pitch competition where companies will compete on a national stage in front of an audience of stakeholders. So the competition offers non-dilutive funding with prizes of $25K, $15K, and $10K for the top 3 finishers. So that is a broad overview of the program, but getting more into the specifics. So what are we looking for? So we are looking for pre-Series A early stage companies. This program is for companies kind of just starting out in their defense journeys. Early stage companies, if you are more advanced, you probably won't be able to benefit quite as much from this program. US-based companies. So in order to qualify for the prize money at the end, you must be based in the US. We're looking for small businesses.
Caroline, I can pick it up.
Okay, I will recover soon. Thank you, Ryan.
So just to pick up from where Caroline left off, we are looking for pre-Series A's companies. You must be a small business and a non-traditional defense contractor for those. So if you have questions about eligibility, it's all very clearly posted on NSIN.mil for the Vector program. Who is not eligible? This program is not going to be beneficial for late stage companies that are beyond Series B. And that's because one of the KPIs of Vector is to raise capital, help the early stage startups raise capital. Additionally, if you already have significant traction within DoD and multiple engagements with paying customers, there's probably other NSIN programs, perhaps NSIN Propel, that might be a better fit for you. So Vector is really targeting early stage companies that are just beginning to explore the defense, the DoD as a customer, or looking to kind of bring it to the next level and carry their initial engagements to the next level. Also, you have to be registered on sam.gov. So that is another eligibility component. I want to talk a little bit about the program timeline. So applications are due May 10th. We're going to be in virtual program June 5th through August 14th. And we will have the virtual showcase in August, planning for the week of August 12th. That will be virtual. We are working on some potential in-person opportunities that will be optional for attendees in the program. So let me talk a little bit about why this program is so beneficial for startups. It's very founder friendly, which means you have time to work on your commercial your commercial line of business. We ask for about 2 hours of your time per week. You're going to be able to expand your network, get direct access to DoD SMEs. We have built out a brand new curriculum this year, built out by former experts that have experience navigating the nuances of the federal government, that have worked in the Pentagon, that have worked in contracting and worked out on the battlefield, in addition to experience in raising capital on the investment side. So we really spent a lot of great time updating this curriculum so that it is useful for you to have a toolkit to walk away with. You're going to get personalized mentorships. We're going to be pairing each startup with a government mentor and with a alumni mentor as well. And as Caroline mentioned, there is a prize challenge associated with this event. That means that during the course of that prize challenge, it does count as a competitive down select, which means in some cases, we might be able to use the fact that you've gone through that competitive down select to help you engage faster and with more streamlined contracting pathways with some of the DoD stakeholders that you'll meet in program. We're not going to ask for any of your IP rights. We're not going to ask for equity. This is a fully government-funded accelerator program. And most exciting, if you are thinking about raising capital, want to understand how to go about that, want to raise a little bit more capital than what maybe you've already raised in a pre-seed round, then we are going to support you in building out a pitch deck and engaging with those investors. Some of the expectations, I already talked about the time commitment. Our sessions are not going to be spent delivering the curriculum. Our sessions are going to be spent bringing in speakers, going over the week-to-week curriculum that you had access to, giving you feedback on the items that maybe you have worked on through the online curriculum. So that could be looking at your pitch deck, refining your value proposition, helping you go over market segmentation, helping you understand or outline a proposal for government funding. So the flow will be on your own. You will experience the virtual curriculum. You'll have access to all of the resources, references, templates, and then we'll come together as a group each week to debrief, ask questions, share insights, and engage with our guest speakers that have joined us. And then you'll have also a few one-on-one mentorship meetings from an assigned mentor. And we are working on some optional in-person events that you may be able to attend. And most importantly, you're going to enjoy an alumni community and support from NSIN once you enter the NSIN pipeline. I want to talk a little bit about the focus areas. I know these are very broad: advanced sensing, command and control, data sharing, resilient position and navigation, and timing, PNT, and contested communication. We left the focus areas broad on purpose, and that's because we want to hear from you. We want to hear how you believe your technology fits into these focus areas, whether it's a hardware or a software. In the application process, we are looking for you to connect the dots a little bit and use your imagination on how you think your solution is going to support or impact the warfighter or the Department of Defense in its ability to carry out its mission. So for those that are fairly new to the Department of Defense, I listed some recommendations here on how you can go about identifying the specific challenges or problems that your technology solution might solve. CTO.mil, a simple open source news search on your technology and how the DoD might already be currently employing it, paired with the focus area, will actually provide a lot of great information. There are a lot of current events to tie into and recent DoD strategy publications that you can find posted from defense.gov or along any of what we call the combatant commands. If you go to defense.gov, you can click on About Combatant Commands there, And with each, what we call combatant command, which are associated with regions around the globe, you'll be able to access the web page, which lists the posture statements that the 4 stars of these commands have given to Congress on the state of their challenges in their areas. There also will be links to their recent strategy and science and technology documents or recent experimentation. So these are just recommendations, but open source research will help you be able to tie your technology into the focus areas. If you're not sure how you fit in, please apply, because we may see your application and recommend you for another NSIN program. Let's talk about the evaluation criteria. It's very clear. It is posted on ensign.mil under the NSIN Vector page. All applications will be scored against these 4 criteria. So I want to talk a little bit about the application while we're here on the criteria page. The application itself, you'll be asked to submit a series of short answers. Those short answers take anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes to respond to. And most importantly, we want you to upload supporting documentation. That can be a 1-page or a quad chart or a few slides, but the more information that you can provide in those supporting documents that clearly show your technology solution against the scoring rubric will help you score more competitively against the other applicants. So we will be accepting 20 startups into the program. And so it will be a competitive process. Take time and know that you're going to have to upload those supporting documents as part of the application. All right. Real quick, I didn't introduce myself. My name is Ryan. I'm a partner at Decisive Point. We are NSIN's delivery partner for this program. I'm a partner at Decisive Point, which is a venture capital firm. So we invest in early stage technologies for defense, energy, and infrastructure. We are physically located in Boston, Washington, D.C., and New York, but we travel across the country. This program is open to companies across the country, so we're very interested in engaging with all of you, no matter where you are located. Our expertise at Decisive Point revolves around finding the best emerging technology companies and helping our prior government, leveraging our prior government procurement experience, military operations, and investment experience to help you understand how to transition your technology and pair it with commercial capital and commercial milestones. So with that, next, I'm going to turn it back over to Caroline, she looks like she's gotten all of her coughs out, and she's going to speak with Colin Taylor from Revolute Robotics, who's an alumni of this program, and he's going to share some of his experiences about NSIN Vector. So I'll let you two take it away.
Thanks so much, Ryan. Yes, I got a cough drop and we are doing much better. So thank you for jumping in there. But yes, so we have one of our awesome alumni companies here to speak with us today. So Colin and Revolute Robotics were the most recent first place winners of our Vector program, so this past fall. And they were just a truly fantastic and standout company throughout the entire accelerator program. And I think they're a really great example of how to make the most of your experience in this program. So Colin, I will turn it over to you to briefly introduce yourself and your company, and then we'll jump into a few questions.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you guys, and hello to all the attendees here. We are Revolute Robotics. We build hybrid driving flying robots, as you can see on the screen there. And we went through this program, what was it, 6 months ago now we started?
Yeah, we started in October.
Yeah, there you go.
Great. So you may or may not have gotten these questions in advance. So Colin, what would you say was the thing that you liked most about the program? So what did you find, most helpful, like looking back on your experience?
I would say the answer is twofold. The first thing is you get a roadmap of how to break into the DoD. You sort of get all the curriculum on, what you need to prepare, the types of folks you need to reach out to. That is really, really helpful just for the general understanding of how does this whole process work, because there's so much nuance and so many moving parts. But the part that's really helpful is you get to work with these mentors to tailor that roadmap to your startup's specific needs. And that is by far the most helpful thing. I don't know of any program out there that offers anything close to this. But being able to work with these mentors, take advantage of, reaching out to all these different subject matter experts within each agency of DoD, each different side of things, whether it's contracting, operators, leadership, they can really help you figure out, how do I tailor, this roadmap to my specific needs, because of course it differs for everybody.
Yeah, and so what would you say, so you talked a little bit about some of the benefits. Looking back, do you think there's what what one thing do you think you could pull out that has helped you the most post program?
It's been the ability to talk to folks who know the answer. You could spend hours and days and weeks trying to find the people that can tell you simple answers to simple questions. Who do I talk to for this? How do I get in touch with these types of people? NSIN has folks with experience in all these different avenues. And there's always somebody that's got an answer to any question you have. And I mean, that to us is just so incredibly valuable.
Well, as someone from NSIN, I do appreciate that feedback. What would your advice be to companies who are interested in applying, or companies selected who are, incoming into the cohort?
For those companies that are in the cohort, I would say, take charge. Oh, there you go. It's right there. Yeah, take charge of your development. It's totally on you. You've got scheduled time with these folks, but you can reach out for anything you need help on. You've got full access to everyone on this team for, the full 3 months of the program. You've still got access to them after the fact, but your head's in it. This is all you're working on and thinking about when it comes to DoD stuff. So go all in, soak up every last drop, come to these meetings with questions, have stuff prepared that you can go over. Even in the Friday team hours when everybody else is around, there's still so much you can get just by asking questions that are relevant to you. Everyone else is going to get stuff from that. And then, yeah, I'd also say, this is my co-founder and I who both went through the program. But talk to the other companies. There's going to be people with all sorts of different levels of funding from DoD, different experience working with them. Everybody's got different experiences. When we went through it, we didn't have any funding at all. And we were learning from folks that did, but they were also learning from us on different ways to get in touch with them, stuff that's worked for us. So, yeah, that would be my advice.
Yeah. Well, I can say, as someone who, watched you go through the program, your team was so excellent about, making the most of all of our, both the mandatory and the optional. And so I think you guys were at every single office hour for the entire 10 weeks, always coming with great questions. And I think, that engagement really did pay off in the end. I think we have time for maybe one more question before we open it up for general. So, Colin, would you say that there was anything, what surprised you most about the Vector program? Was there something, that you weren't expecting coming in that you took away from it? You're muted too.
Yes, apologies. I've got a landscaper outside. I don't know if you can hear that.
No worries.
The quality of the all the different types of mentors really was surprising. I mean, we've done so many programs. We've done Techstars, Plug and Play, Mass Challenge, all these different things. And, there's usually mentors with great experience in one thing, or, one person with experience in a whole lot of things. But, with this program, you've got people who are true subject matter experts across all agencies, across different departments of those agencies. There truly is always somebody who has the answer to a question you have. And I mean, it's just so accessible. So we expected a lot, but we were still absolutely blown away. That's the truth.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. Well, So I think that might be all the time we have for our alumni spotlight. But for those of you who do enter the program, Colin and his team will be alumni mentors, so you might get the chance to see him again. But Colin, thanks so much for coming to talk with our teams today.
Been a pleasure, guys. If I can help in any way, please don't hesitate to reach out.
All right. Thank you, Colin. That was awesome. Really appreciate hearing about you and your experience. And that conversation actually brought up a couple of points before I jump into questions. So number one, like everybody on the call that applies, if you are accepted in NSIN Vector, you're going to get out of the program what you decide to put into it. We are going to bombard you with some great mentors, a great network. You've got to come ready to leverage everything that we're gonna be able to help you with. So that doesn't mean that we're gonna do all of the work for you. We're gonna be partners and collaborators in this, so that you can go out on your own as an alumni and continue to build your business and your transition strategy. Another question, I'm getting a lot of questions on, like, we've already had some DoD traction. Should we apply? So to be clear, this program is it is for startups that are fairly new in their defense journey. However, we will meet you where you're at. So we have developed the curriculum and the resources to be helpful for those, whether you know zero, nothing about the Department of Defense, or maybe you have had gone through a program like the Hacking for Defense I saw someone had listed, or maybe you've won a phase 1 or phase 2. That's okay. Still apply. If you consider yourself a cybermaster, I've won, $20 million in contracts already, this is probably not the best program for you. So we're looking kind of for early starters. Caroline, is there anything you kind of want to add to that answer, that question?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head, Ryan. We typically see folks who have, like you said, like sometimes like maybe a couple phase 1 cybers or a phase 2. But the unifying factor among all of the companies is that like they're new to the defense space. So if you would consider yourself, and not an expert in by any means, then you are welcome in this program.
Great. So I see that Sherry asked me, we've executed a phase 1 and phase 2 with the AFRL. Do we qualify for this program? Yes, you still qualify. Okay. Another question I saw, are there regular networking events in New York City? So basically, the startups everyone in the cohort is from across the country. With that said, we are going to be working very closely with the DIU OnRamp Hubs and also the entire NSIN regional network team. So in addition to the virtual experience, we are going to work to make sure that you are looped in within the region where you have the majority of your team, or where you're physically located, or where perhaps some of the decisive point team is located, as we have events there. Okay, is 2 hours a week all encompassing, or is that just referring to the calls? So I would say that is just referring to the calls. So the weekly sessions, we've allocated 2 hours. Sometimes they end early, depending on how many speakers we have and the number of questions for the cohort. The content on the portal is going to be able, you're going to be able to go through that on your own time. All right. What is the expected minimum TRL for the demonstrator? Caroline, why don't you tackle this one?
So typically, companies in Vector are TRL 3 to 6. That's not required, but we do like you to be more than an idea. So if you're like minimum, I would say 2, ideally in the 3 to 6 range.
Okay. Is dual use a requirement, or companies with defense focused tech apply that have no commercial market? Still apply. Still apply. I would recommend still applying. This is dual use. We do want commercial traction, but defense focused tech can be categorized as the commercial side of that, engaging with defense primes or other large program integrators as your commercial side. Company that is pre-fundraised but already generating revenue. Yeah, absolutely. Please. I think that'd be a great fit. I know that not everybody is going to be raising capital. Look, the outcomes that we want from this program are a few things. Number one, we want you to be prepared to go out and raise capital, know how to go about that systematically. We want you to understand where your technology might fit within the DoD. We want you to have built new network connections, have had technology interchange and customer discovery. And we want you to lead with a vision of the development and pathway to transition your technology to government. Caroline, anything I missed on kind of like those high level items?
No, I think you got it.
Great. Okay. Are there any service disabled veteran-owned small businesses in the program? Well, we don't know because we haven't chosen the companies. But if you are designated as that, we will definitely, if you are a SDVS OSB, then we can help you understand how to leverage that designation for contracts, or if you haven't yet received that designation, then we can help you understand how to navigate that process. Sherry, can we get a copy of these slides? We are recording this and we will send a follow-up mailer with where you can access this recording. Okay, Caroline, are you seeing any other questions we need to hit?
Have we covered the question? It looks like there's a question about a company that's registered in SAM, but they have non-American owners. Are they still eligible?
So you need to be owned, American owned. So that means that 51% or more of your company needs to be owned by US citizens, or I believe it's green card holders.
Permanent residents, yeah.
Permanent residents, yes. Okay. Can you further define the data sharing qualification? This is a great question. So let me circle back to the focus areas, which again are very, very broad. So the data sharing focus area and all the focus areas are broad. We want you to go out, do your own research, and identify some of the use cases or ways that your solution ties into DoD. But let me talk a little bit about some differentiators that you might want to highlight within your solution that the DoD looks at broadly. The DoD is looking for solutions that can either save costs, save lives, or introduce a new capability to the battlefield, right? So think about your technology under the focus area in that way. So how can this data sharing enable, is my offering more affordable? Can it save lives? Or is the way that I fall under data sharing going to introduce a brand new capability to the battlefield? Another couple of what I'll call indicators that are useful to take a look at. Does your solution remove the burden of the warfighter? Does it make every warfighter's job easier if they don't have the necessary expertise? So is it user-friendly so that it can be deployed? Does it help joint operations? Does it help us operate with our partner nations more efficiently or across the services more efficiently? Does it enhance safety? So think about some of those kind of indicators as you're positioning the technology under some of the focus areas. I see a question about the total prize purse. Caroline, could you talk about that?
Yes. So the total prize purse is $50K. To be distributed among the top 3 teams. So the first place winner will receive 25K, second place is 15, and third place is 10. You can see it delineated also on our Vector event page on our website.
Great. Data analytics could fall under any of the focus areas actually, but you could put it under data sharing. You're able to select multiple focus areas in the application, I believe. All right. Other questions? Okay, majority owned, but has a development team outside of the USA to participate. Yeah, that should be fine as long as members of the team aren't from any designated what we call foci nations. And also, additionally, we would want, you know, we're looking for the someone from the full-time core team to participate as well. So if the development team is part-time or not fully engaged, then, you know, we're going to want either a member of the core executive team to be at all of the sessions. All right. Will we have access to all branches? Well, the good news is that I'm former Navy, my business partners are former Army, so that's 2 of the branches. But yes, you'll have access to all branches, and it's actually really important as you're doing market research for your technology to look at, you know, if your solution is already being used by the Navy, it probably is also useful for the Air Force and Army. So you're going to want to look at the counterpart organizations across the services. Okay. Other questions? I'm seeing a couple focus area questions. Yeah, high performance, eco-friendly in space satellite propulsion technology. Sure, I think that probably could fall under a contested environment. When thinking about the focus areas, also really important to think about the environment in which today's operators are conducting operations. So oftentimes it's what we call in a contested environment, where we have to send in autonomous systems first, communications might be down, our systems might be vulnerable to jamming or EW. So very important to think about that type of environment when you're positioning your technology. And so satellites are actually a pretty important part of that. And also technologies that enable us to operate in a stealthy manner. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Last call. What potential follow-on opportunities might result from this program? Okay, a couple. It could be a development contract to do R&D on your product. It could be a CRADA, Collaborative Research and Development Agreement. It could be a letter of support or intent from an end user that then helps you get a contract. It could be a nice case study that you've built out with a mentor. So there's a lot of outcomes all the way to potentially get, you know, an invite to attend an experiment or something like that. So wide range of outcomes depending on where you're at in your technology. All right, we are just about at time. I want to give the last word to Caroline, and I want to thank everybody for your time. Remember, applications are due May 10th. Don't wait till the last minute. We're not going to accept anything past the deadline, and we're really looking forward to hearing from all of you. Caroline, close us out.
Thanks so much, Ryan. I do see a couple timeline questions still in the chat, so I will say next steps. So definitely apply by that May 10th deadline. I believe it's 11:59 p.m. Eastern. So please, please, please apply early. After that, we'll go into down selection, and you will be notified whether you are in or not. So you'll receive a notification either way by the end of May. And then the cohort will begin in early June. So if you are selected, be ready to kind of hit the ground running. And we'll run from June through August. So thank you guys so much for coming. I love being able to put on this program. The companies that that become part of the cohort, you know, are always my favorite part of my job. So I'm so excited to get to know you all and to learn with you, like, as we kind of start your defense innovation journeys together. So please apply and please reach out. You have our emails if you have any questions following this event. And have a great rest of your day.
All right. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.